Good, y'all listen. Look, I'm mad I even gotta say this.
Why are we acting like this is not Don't get your fucking first like
There's nothing wrong with hate. You've got to hate some things with a passion. And destruction, they must dislike and hate with a passion.
Hello, peace, be one. Today we have a very special episode. I haven't done an interview in a long time. I haven't spoken to anyone outside of Afro Elite, which shout out to For the Culture. But I don't really do many collabs, don't really do many interviews. And so I was very excited to have the opportunity to speak with this brother today. I'm sure y'all have seen him before. He's been viral a lot in these streets, these internet streets. He's standing on Black business, B1 business. He's on a delineation tip. He's not playing. Okay, he's an author. The brother is really a jack of all trades. We're gonna get into it. But we're gonna get into this wonderful conversation with our good brother Dave Anderson. Hello.
Easy. What's happening? How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I don't have any interesting complaints, man. Happy to be here. Happy holidays to everybody. What's up to my B1 family? I am so thrilled to be here, man. Thank you for being so flexible in your schedule. Things come up, but I wanted to make sure I pulled up and showed out for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we were supposed to do this on Friday. That was but it's cool. We had some things, some
stuff and some things.
Some things in the way. So it's cool. But we're here on Monday. Monday is even better. We're at the start of the week. It's cool. We here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I appreciate it either way. It's a blessing, brother, for real.
Absolutely.
Now, like I was talking to him before I got up on here, but I was saying, when I first did my interviews, I let other people introduce themselves.
Sure.
So yeah, I already did kind of an introduction. I said you was an author, but you have so many other titles. But you can go with whatever you like, whichever ones you want to choose, all of them. Just introduce yourself to the people.
I am the $1 million champion. I'm Dave Anderson, 22-time best-selling author, business coach, former media executive. I've been retired since I was 34. I'm 48 now. So, I've been out here doing this. Pro wrestling didn't work out. So I've been out here, snapping necks and cashing checks in a different way. And I enjoy my Blackness above all else. And I enjoy talking about what we need to do in our communities in order to make things better for ourselves instead of waiting for some magical white man to come out here and, descend upon us with positivity and the nay. So, that's pretty much it. They call me the business bully because I don't tolerate a whole lot of nonsense. And, I'm here. I'm very excited to be here with you, and we're going to have a great conversation.
Yes, it's going to be a great conversation for sure. Now I want to get a little background on you too, because like I said, I did my own little research. I got your book, The Real Black Agenda. We're going to get into that too. So I watched a few interviews. I had to do my little some due diligence on you. So I want to know your background. Where are you from? Are you from Philly?
I'm from Philly. I'm from Philly.
Okay. Yeah, where your family from? Get into that. Your background.
Okay. Yes. Where my family from? Because that's always the question. First thing, look at his hair. Is he a tether? I have no tether blood. My father's side of the family comes from dairy farmers in South Carolina. My mother's side of the family comes from peanut farmers and sharecroppers in Virginia. So I'm as foundational as they come.
Yeah.
My great grandfather was a sharecropper. His father was a slave. So that's how that works. So my grandfather's side, on my father's side, my grandfather was born in 1896. His father was a slave. He was born into slavery like 2 years into the Civil War. So that's how that goes. But aside from that, my people are primarily from Philly, from Pennsylvania, this, that, and the third. Oh, and the trolls are in the comments. I love that.
It's fine. They're going to be there. So
they have to do things. They hide under a bridge and smell like ass. So
and they wait for FBAs all day to come around and do their job. They're the trolls. That's what they're supposed to do.
That's what they do. They're doing their job. But yeah, man. So my family is real salt of the earth people. I come from a long line of cops, accountants, teachers. Not a whole lot of performers and orators in my background.
Okay. All right. I know you said you were married. Is your wife
Yes, ma'am.
FBO?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm just asking.
yeah,
We let
very much so.
we let
Very
her see
much
it
so.
before. That's a black. I'm just making sure. I just
You
gotta
know,
ask.
locks longer than mine.
Real.
Yeah, her locks are longer than
I
mine.
feel like the last time I seen you, you didn't have locks. Am I tripping? How long you been growing up?
Oh gosh, what's this? 2025, so about 2.5 years.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
tripping.
yeah, no, you
Okay.
tripping.
All right. Now I did hear in the interview too that you said that you come from a family of educators.
Yes, my mother was a two-time Teacher of the Year finalist in the School District of Philadelphia. He is a Cheney University grad, also a graduate degree holder from the University of Pennsylvania. My uncle went to MIT. My stepfather, my grandmother, all teachers. My oldest daughter is a teacher in the school district. So yeah, I come from a long line of educators, and I'm a college professor. So.
Oh, okay. How long did you do that? Was you a professor? Are you currently a college professor?
Oh, I'm on sabbatical.
Oh, okay. Well,
We'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that. You know, my rabble rousing ass. But no, I taught personal branding as well as social media marketing at Temple University here in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all right. Well, I do want to know because, like I said, you do have. When I was watching some, I didn't realize you had been on the Breakfast Club a few times, actually.
Like 4.
Yeah, I seen. I didn't know that. I did my research. I seen that. That's what's up.
You deep dive in there. You had to go back a few years. You had to go in there.
You know, I seen. But I do want to know why you settled, or why did you? Because you said you went through, you had influence in music and you was in radio and but I do get the fact that your family was educators as well. Why did you land on or is it because of that? Why did you land on, mentorship? You got the book. Why is business? Why is that your niche now? Why did you land on that?
Well, because even though I come from educators and cops and salt of the earth people, my father bought a corner store in the hood in 1984. My mother used to run John Wanamaker's salon downtown. She also would do the hair of all of the black models for people like Bill Blass, Yves Saint Laurent, things of that nature. And so my mother went back to teaching for a while. And then in 1991, she opened up a salon also in the hood. And I came to find out my second great grandfather on my mother's side had a bunch of barber shops, in the early 1900s. And so I think entrepreneurship was always in my DNA. I just don't think anybody in my family took it as far as I did, with the exception of my second great grandfather. And I also realized that we spend so much time being performers. We spend so much time being ball players and singers and writers and rappers. And we're very rarely the people who get to run the show. We're very rarely the people who are the executive producers, the people who cut the check, the people who make the decisions. And when you start making millions of dollars for corporations and you're not even seeing a tenth of that, I don't know about you, but for me, I started to get pissed off. And so I was like, nah, like, how about no? Because what they're doing, the thing of the entrepreneurship is versus having a job is your job will take your talents, your skills, and your abilities and monetize them. Entrepreneurship is you taking your talents, your skills, and abilities and monetizing them. So if I can make this kind of money for somebody else, I can sure eke out a little piece of the pie for myself. And that's why I went there. And then I saw that nobody was teaching our people what business looked like from a practical standpoint, not Shark Tank, not in some little room someplace, but in a real practical way as to what it actually looks like, not what it looks like on a reality show, not what you see when somebody takes a 45-minute pitch and nails it down to 8 minutes, but what it looks like for us to actually build, fund, and expand our businesses and scale them in a real way. So that's why I landed here.
Okay, well, I think that's a honorable way to go about it for sure. It's a necessary thing that our people need for sure. Knowledge on that's a blessing, seriously. Now I don't know if you remember, but when I met you, I met you for the first time at the reparations rally. What was that, last year? Yeah,
that was 2024. Listen, that whole thing was a blur.
Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly,
it was like, whoo.
I'm like, damn, it don't even feel like it's been that long. For real, for real. I
Mm-mm.
wasn't, it's crazy how the time is kind of flat. I don't even feel like we're at the end of 2025, but yeah,
It really don't. I still think last year was 2019, so you can't go by me.
literally. That's what it feels like. It's like,
With a few exceptions, like this whole thing has just been like it's been a blur. Don't understand what's going on. Very confused by the way the timeline is lining up. Call Doctor Strange. I hear he's a doctor. You know, so yeah, no, I didn't even know we met at the rally. Like,
oh wow,
it's
well,
insane.
it was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot. I was being pulled in
It was a long day.
37,000 different directions, and it was a very long day. But I do remember walking away with a bean pie.
Oh, okay. You remember my daddy at least? Okay, got you. My daddy didn't want to sell the pie.
Oh, okay, then yeah, it's a good bean pie too.
Yeah, bean pie was busted. You got all the flavors too. Shout out to my brother, Pie Man of DC, to my daddy. But yeah, when I met you, you looked a little bit different. You definitely looked a little bit different than you do right now.
A little chunkier, a little bit. I dropped a lot of weight, but I've dropped even more since then. So yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. So I want to know a little bit more about that journey too.
Sure.
Because matter of fact, I heard you say something interesting. On the Breakfast Club, you were saying that your wife said something to you that kind of sparked your motivation, which was like, she never seen a grandfather that was 90 years old or something to that effect.
Yeah. What Janae said was, she said, number one, you promised me forever, and how you gonna give me forever? Name me a 561-pound old man living the life that you want to live with me. And it's just like, you can say a lot of stuff to me, and I'll just brush it off because you're stupid. But in this case, I don't argue logic. And I was like, what? And then you carry the one. Yeah, nah. Like, ain't no damn near 600-pound elderly people alive. And if they are, they got oxygen. They got that little cart that they take to go to the supermarket, and it's barely moving because they're so damn heavy. So I'm like, yeah, no. So that was at the end of the day. Yeah, I had to do something. And then I got daughters, and I don't want to be a memory. My father died when I was very young. My brother passed in 2022. And matter of fact, today would have been my brother's 55th birthday. So for me, I did not also want to leave my mother as a childless mother. And so I decided to do whatever it took in order to get myself to a healthy weight and to a healthy, body composition. So I've lost over 350 pounds.
Oh, that's a blessing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We love to see it. That's right.
I love to see it going.
Yeah, I'm sure. Feel it. I'm sure you love to feel it going too. It's a blessing.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, that is good to see. I'm just curious. Did that help? Because people say, habits is, all your habits lead into the same thing. So
Sure.
with you having to change, or having that lifestyle change of, with you losing weight, did that help? Like, did that benefit in other parts of your life, specifically, the business areas?
Yeah, I think so, because unfortunately we tell people things that are blatant lies. Right? Just in society, not just Black people, all people. We say things like, oh, don't judge a book by its cover. Then explain to me why every major publishing house has an art department that does nothing but book covers if book covers don't matter, if we don't judge them by that. Right? You make a conscious decision within 3 seconds of seeing somebody if that person is viable. The difference is, if you had to choose, and I'm just giving a comparison so that your audience can put a visual in their head. If you had to choose between me leading a revolution or Roland Martin leading the revolution, who you going with?
Yeah.
That's why I stood on the stage of the rally for reparations. It says, don't nobody fear your revolution if you can't do a push-up.
That's real. That's
just
real.
what it is.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it's not fat shaming, it's fact shaming. We got to get ourselves to a place where we understand that the facts of the situation is these white folks, by and large, generally speaking, have been training their children up in the way that they should go. That's why they take their kids camping, fishing, hunting. They get a gun in their hands very, very early. You know what we do? That's white people stuff. You ain't doing that. And that's why you're fat, sick, and nearly dead. And that's why nobody fears you, because all you do is jaw jack. We don't even have it in us, generally speaking, to boycott something longer than 20 days. And then these folks will sit up here and say, oh, well, we're going to boycott from Thanksgiving evening till Cyber Monday. All you did was move the balance sheet 5 days, dummy. Because human behavior will show you, if you tell people we're not going to the gas station on Sunday, they'll go on Saturday or they'll go on Monday. You've done nothing. And because we're not organized, and because we're fat, and because we're sick, and because we're distracted, no one takes us seriously. But if you come in there fit, if you come in there masculine, if you come in there strong and know exactly what it is that you want with your ducks in a row and having an agenda, people treat you differently. So I'm not going to act like my weight loss and my fitness journey has not impacted not only the way I see the world, but the way the world sees me. Because the opportunities I have now at 208 pounds versus what I have at 561, it's not even a comparison. It just isn't.
That's real. I appreciate the honesty, for real, because a lot of people do, you know, and especially in this sensitive society that we're in now, a lot of people, even if they do get honest with themselves about losing weight, they're still coddling others in their journey. You know, it's not like I like the way that you just said it's not a fact check, it's a fat check. Or what did you say, fat check instead of fat check? Something like that.
It's a fat check.
It's a fat check. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, that's real. At the end of the day, your health does matter, you know. So we can sit here and enable you all you want, but yeah, we ain't gonna have you in old age or, you know, to be able to do certain events or do certain activities. You know, it matters. It does affect your whole life and how people view you, like you said. So yeah, I'm actually glad that you're honest about that. That's what's up.
Absolutely. I want us to start unbigging our backs. I really do. No, because here's the thing, right? Even Lizzo, who was the champion of all the slack-jawed North American bingo wing big backs, then dropped some weight.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? The fatties turned on her because they couldn't hide behind having, you know, double chin denial. I'm just talking, Z.
I mean, you're right, though. I'm not. You're right.
All I'm saying is, and I even told Charlamagne this, yeah, like, who was going to pay for my funeral? Like, he might have.
It's real.
Probably not now. But who was going to take care of my kids? And I'm not going to have Winston St. Jock or some tether trying to pull up on my wife and I'm in an urn. Nah, it ain't happening.
Nah, that's a blessing. Seriously. And especially as a black man, we love to see it. We need that energy. We need that energy for black women too, because there's definitely too many damn black women running around, especially in these political spaces that's overweight, without a man, and absolutely egregious, outrageous, everything between. So, you know, we don't do double standards over here. We definitely gotta keep that same energy for the women. We got to do better. For sure. But it's good to see. Now, I wanted to bring that up first because also I feel like I haven't, with all the stuff that I've heard you talk about, I feel like I haven't heard you talk about this specifically a lot. And I just wanted to get some of your thoughts on it.
Sure.
Now going back to what your wife said, your wife telling you that, you know, she never met somebody that was older that was 500 and something pounds, you know. I thought that was just a very simple, but again, very loving and inspirational thing for her to do as a wife. It just shows that you have a good wife. You know, that's a sign that you have a good wife, at least, because that's what's up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some women would just feed into that. Some of them waving, trying to feed them to get them up out of here so they get a check after they go. So that's what's up. You know, that she said, I'm trying to see you in old age, like for real. But then even in your book, I connected that to your book because in your book you say, which we're going to get more into in a second. I just want to bring this up. But in your book, you say that every black family should be operating as a nation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. I want you to expound on that, but even moreover is that the basis of that nation is a marriage, you know, is the your spouse. Can you talk about how important it is? How vital it can be for your future and for basically every part of your life, choosing the right spouse, choosing the right woman. If you could talk specifically to the men if you want to, but just marriage in general for black people, how important that is to choosing your spouse in marriage and how it can affect your whole entire life and the generations after.
The greatest business and political decision anyone can make is who they choose to spend the rest of their life with, who they choose to procreate with. To act like it's not is counterintuitive. See, COINTELPRO didn't die. It just rebranded itself, right? Because whenever they tell black people they don't need to do something, you need to do the opposite. Fauci walking through the hood talking about you need a jab. You don't need that jab. They're telling you need to be strong and independent. You don't need no man for nothing, this, that, and the third. Listen here. No. Name me a business that does not have a strong family behind it. You can't. The Waltons, the Kardashians, y'all can say, well, Kris Jenner's single. No. Kris Jenner was a Kardashian. Robert Kardashian died. Then she got with Bruce Jenner. Let's not act like there's not a strong family makeup behind that situation. Wells Fargo, Ferrari, all of these, Sears and Roebuck. I could do this all day. Name me 5 Black foundational American dynasties that don't involve rap or ball. I'll spot you Robert Smith. I can't really spot you Byron Allen because, again,
yeah. So it ain't really that
no
black.
judgment.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's another. They call that the Diana Rossification of blackness. You know, you look at her grandkids white as the day is long, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what we're talking about is you don't see that in Chinatown like that.
Yeah.
You don't see that in the Delhi district or the Diamond district. You don't see that in Little Italy like that. And again, love is love. Love who you love. But understand that when we're talking about building something, the first thing you need to build before you build a business should be the business of your family. And we treat our children like they're liabilities as opposed to heirs and assets. You know, and I think that's an extremely important thing to understand. When you look at any sport, with the exception of golf, because they don't wear jerseys, your last name is on your back. When you have a family, you stop playing for your first name. I ain't played for Dave in quite some time. I'm playing for Anderson. That's it. And that's what that means. You know, I understand that it is my duty, my responsibility, no matter how frustrating it may be at times, for me to make sure that my family is there. And I'm not just talking about provision. I'm talking about security and moving things forward. You know, and that in and of itself is just so counterculture. It used to be the thing. We used to be the most married. We were the most married. We were the most skilled. We had the lowest amount of teenage pregnancies. We were the least amount of people who were dependent upon the government. But now look at us, by and large, generally speaking. No, family is everything. You could be strong and independent, but then you're the first ones talking about, well, no one wants to protect me. I'm so neglected and unprotected. You don't want to get under nobody's leadership. Submission is like raid the roaches to some of these sisters. That's just what it is.
That's real.
The way somebody said the Wayans family. See, the Wayans family in and of itself is a family unit, mother and father. 8,976 kids, mother and father. The foundation is foundational. That's all I'm saying. You know, and that's how that goes. And you can say Damon John, but Damon John,
egregious. Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, but that matters though. You're right. I'm glad you said it.
It matters. But you know, family business is the first business.
Okay, understood. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you said that. You worded the way you did. Even what you saying that we need to treat our children like heirs. I'm like, yeah, that's something that you don't even hear common. As a common, like, you know, just in our vocabulary for Black Americans, when you're talking on a regular day basis, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to make sure my heirs is good. I'm trying to make sure I got, you know, but we actually should normalize that. We should make sure that that's how we view our children, you know. But the start of that, as you're right, is like you said, is operating as a nation, getting married, baby. Yeah, marriage is first. Now I heard you say that you lived in
34 cities in 19 states.
Damn. 34 cities in 19 states. Number one, let me just ask, what was your favorite? Which one is your favorite? Outside of Philly, you can't name your home. Yeah, you know, my hometown.
Yeah, no. That's a tough one, and I'm gonna tell you why, right? So I loved a lot of places. But if I had to pick one place, just one place, Nashville, Tennessee.
Really?
Nashville, Tennessee was absolutely amazing. So here's the thing. I'm the number one DJ in North Carolina at this point, and I get a call out of the blue. Guy calls me, says, yeah, I'm looking for Dave Anderson. I'm like, this is me. Like, at this point, nobody called me by my government, because when you in rap radio, we all got names, right? And so he was like, yeah, man. He was like, you know, I've heard your tapes and I love what you're doing. I'd love to talk about having you come to Nashville and do a deal. So I hung up on him because I thought it was a joke. Like, who's coming to play hip hop in Nashville, Tennessee? Right, my ignorant ass. I ain't nothing. Now, Memphis, yeah, because you know Memphis, you got 3 6 Mafia, you got Project Pat. You know what I'm saying? There was a little dope boy I knew named Yo Gotti who was starting to make some noise out here. But I was like, Nashville. I thought I was being pranked, so I hung up on him 3 times. 4th time he calls me. He says, "Listen, this ain't no prank. Let me fly you out next weekend. I'll take you around. If you like it, we can sit down. We do a deal. If not, you had a free weekend on me." I said, cool. So I fly out there, and keep in mind, I'm a very young man. I'm in my early to mid 20s at this point. So he takes me through the campus of Tennessee State. He takes me through all the soul food places. You know, he takes me to the local record stores. You know, and I'm like, oh, Nashville black as hell. I ain't know it's Negroes everywhere.
I was definitely black as hell down there for sure.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this is mind blowing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then they had there were these 2 dudes named Young Buck and D-Tay. And at this point, Young Buck had not signed a G Unit. So I met Young Buck. He was super cool. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for having me. He's like, you know, I'm working on some stuff. I'm going to be doing this. I said, all right, cool. You know, best of luck to you, whatever. And I did the deal. And I came back. And within a year, I was #1 across the board. I beat country. I beat gospel. I beat sports talk. I was #1 in hip hop. And for me, and I tell people, when I was homeless, I went back to Nashville. So I went from Texas back to Nashville because I knew I had a place where I could sleep. I knew I had a place where I could hang out. I knew I had folks I can party with, and I can just decompress and get my mojo back. To this day, I can go to Nashville with absolutely nothing other than my ID and the clothes on my back, and I'll be fine in a week.
Well, damn. Okay. Like Nashville, like I've never been to Tennessee. I didn't know it was like that out there.
Nashville like that. Now, I will say that since they, how can I put this? Since they, remember that TV show Nashville, the one that was on ABC? And they had like the country singers. Ever since that, they started building it up a little bit, and some of the black areas have gotten kind of gentrified.
It's not okay.
But there, you know, I still got plenty of people there. So,
okay, well that's what's up. That's all right. Tennessee, we love to see it. Yeah, that's a lot. 34 damn states since 19. What did you say?
34 cities, 19 states.
Damn, yeah, that's a lot. Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. I have lived in Alaska, Hawaii, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Texas,
North Carolina,
Jacksonville, New Bern, Greenville, Fayetteville, Raleigh, Durham, Burgaw.
Well, I lived in Raleigh. I'm with you on now. I lived in Raleigh.
I did K97.5.
Oh, wow. I used to listen to them.
Yeah, buddy.
We let us see it. No, you a jack of all trades for real. That's kind of crazy. Radio, DJ, and book. This is great. A lot. We let us see it. Now, I wanted to use that really as a segue. Actually, I'm gonna use this question as a segue to get to what I really want to get to. Now you lived in 34 cities, 19 states.
Yep.
Now I asked you what your favorite place was, but which place was your favorite to experience FBA culture?
Oh.
Again, can't use Philly. That's your hometown.
No, I can't use Philly. I can't use Philly.
And you already used Tennessee. You was somewhere else.
I can't use that. Okay. My favorite place to experience FBA culture, Atlanta.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Okay.
I loved Atlanta. I was in Atlanta mid to late 2000s. I just think at that particular point, like people were, you know, really starting to bubble. And even now, when I go back to Atlanta, I get more love in Atlanta than I get in Philly. Like I love Atlanta. Now there's some drawbacks because there's a lot of folks in Atlanta who, you know, they're entrepreneurs, but you know, they dropping fries at Wendy's like 3 hours later.
Right.
But
for real.
Overall, I love that folks are at least in the process of building and looking at blackness as the cure as opposed to the disease, especially when it comes to standing on foundational business. So that to me is absolutely everything. But I love the people. I love the vibes. You know, I just love seeing our people be our people in absolutely every stretch of the imagination, good, bad, or indifferent. I have a thing about my people being authentically themselves, not shucking for massa, not shucking and jiving for dollars, but being who they absolutely are. And I think no place in my experience out of the places I lived when I was doing radio embodies that more than Atlanta.
Okay. Dave, you know what? I like Atlanta too, though. I've met a lot of people that love traveling to Atlanta. If you're not from that area, but a lot of people just love travel. Black people specifically do love traveling. So I ain't even mad at you about that one. They got a lot of the music, the food, you know.
And low key, and this is the funny thing because I barely eat now, but low key, I love Atlanta chicken wings. Atlanta has a buffalo chicken wing game that is completely underrated. Like, we don't talk about how chicken wings from a gas station beat Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't care what Rick Ross is telling you. Wingstop ain't got nothing on Atlanta gas station chicken. Listen, you get yourself an 8-piece lemon pepper hot. Listen.
Come on. Even they strip clubs.
First of all,
the clubs got the food is
the only time since I've retired that I have stepped into Magic City was the takeout area, so I can get the wings and then take my black ass home. Because the wings are what it is. Like, I'm not. No,
that damn.
I'm not going for no shaky butts. No,
but it ain't. I mean, I feel it though. But I mean, it's damn near like a regular.
You can DoorDash it the whole nine. So it's just like, and then like they got all these flavors you never heard of. I didn't know nothing about Hawaiian jerk honey buffalo until Magic City put it on a DoorDash menu. I was like, I know you fucking lying. We so creative. We gonna find something to put on them. You know, hot sauce and antifreeze.
Not for real.
Like, we will put some stuff on some wings, man.
Right. It's gonna be something, but it's gonna be bomb. It's all that matters. So
always.
Only eat it one time that week.
Absolutely.
A damn.
Where's your favorite place to experience FBA culture?
Oh, actually, definitely DC, which is up the street.
Listen, I can tell you some DC stories.
Really?
That's right. You must not know about me.
So let me know.
Chuck Brown. Bro, listen. I feel like busting loose. Give it a bitch. Listen. When I tell you I'm a go-go head. Right? Okay. It's two things I love. I love go-go and I love mambo sauce. And you just brought this out of me. When I was at Temple, one of the things I realized, it was a whole faction of DC people. And you knew it was a DC people because girls did not believe in pants. They all wore boy shorts and socks up to like their thighs. Like, and because they would get like the men's socks, like if Shaquille O'Neal was having a sock sale or something, they all just pull them all the way up to their thighs. And all in the dorm, all you would hear was go-go music. And so I got in touch with Backyard Band. And I rented out the YMCA, and I had that bad boy Pat pay tuition that day.
What? Oh, that's what's up.
Pay tuition that day. So, like, even me being a party promoter, like entrepreneurial, not even thinking about it, and that also helped me when I moved from city to city because I already knew how to promote clubs, understood all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I am a real big go-go head.
Okay.
Yes.
Like a little overnight scenario. We let
it. Everybody think Jay-Z came up with it. They gonna sit your ass down somewhere. And then, like, because Philly people like, Dave, you crazy, son. And that ain't nothing but recycle raps and bongo jumps. I'm like, the chicks like it. I'm gonna pack this. Watch. And they was talking, but they showed up.
Because they going to do it because they know who they and they want to be with who they. So
listen,
they gonna come.
If you have a party and it's women's inside, the fella's gonna come and they're gonna pay through the nose to get to them.
Yeah, because if they ain't trying to go in there with them, they trying to go in there with somebody else. So I don't think you want to be.
You just lost me. I don't know nothing about what you're talking about right
now. Thank you for the super chat. Who are FBA leaders? Dr. Umar and Ben Crump. Egregious.
Immediately, no. Ain't Dr. Umar Cuban? And I don't know. Like Ben Crump. Yeah, I think he's Cuban. I don't think he's FBA. I do not think Dr. Umar is FBA.
I definitely heard he has some Cuban lineage. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. You know, and then again, I'm not here for the Prince of Pan pizzas. I'm not. Listen, we're here now. I didn't think we was gonna go here, but we're here. Okay. How it take you 14 years to build a school? And don't hit me with the white man is keeping him from building the school, because you can't name me a teacher that he's got for this Hotep Hogwarts. We're not gonna talk about Dashiki Dumbledore. Okay, cool. So
yeah, you little you are very quick on your feet when it comes to these what you call this. Because
I don't know if you know the Z, but I'm actually in a chair. I'm like 6'1". If I stood up, all you're gonna see is just like, you know.
Copy that.
But like, we ain't got no curriculum, right? We ain't got no teachers. We still ain't. We got the HVAC, but we ain't got the floors and the ceilings done.
Yeah. Then he got broken into that one time too.
Yeah, he got broken into, but he needed $100,000 to pay the electric bill so that they can review the tapes from the cameras that somehow were running on something. Were they running on solar power if the electricity was up? Like, sometimes the stories just don't be. They don't be adding up. Like, they don't come together.
I hear that. I did hear him begging for donations in Africa, though. You know, it's a great. He just got a lot going on.
Donations. Gifts.
It's egregious. You know what? Speaking of Pan-Africanism, actually, let me ask you this too, right quick.
Sure.
Let me say this: was traveling a part of your ethnic pride, or did you grow up in a very Black American household? Was your family Pan-Africanist? We all Black? Should we be da-da-da? And so you grew up, you know, kind of with this Pan-Africanist. Because I feel like a lot of us kind of grow up, if it's not a Pan-Africanist household, it's kind of Pan-Africanist adjacent. So did you kind of grow up in a household like that where you were very proud to be African, to be, you know, we celebrating Kwanzaa, or, you know, did you, you know, kind of learn more about your own ethnic pride?
No. Like, I didn't find out about Kwanzaa until 1995 when I matriculated at Temple University.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah,
okay.
Malefi Asante was my African American studies professor. But no, my house was very, very pro-Black. My aunts, uncles, my mom, they all did the whole civil rights thing, and my grandmother told them they were stupid. And the reason my grandmother said they were stupid wasn't because they weren't intellectually smart. They had just bought into propaganda that didn't make any sense. And my grandmother said to me, we called her Mimar, God rest her soul. She would say, David, here's what I don't understand. Every last one of my children popped out of me in a Black hospital to Black doctors and Black nurses, with the exception of your mother, because your mother was an emergency birth. Everybody else was in a Black doctors, Black hospitals. We had Black butchers, Black bakers, Black candlestick makers, Black restaurants, Black hotels, and they want to sit at a counter to eat unseasoned food. We ain't got no Black hotels now. Name me the Black hospitals, and I'm sitting there. Mm-hmm. And I had to be 30 when she's telling me this, and I was like, so my grandmother wasn't about that Pan-African, we are the world, okay, we all are Negroes. Yeah, that wasn't a thing. You know, I understood, like, we all in like I don't know your age, and I'm not going to ask, but
I'm 28. I ain't got a problem. I'll be 29. Actually, I'm 29. I just turned 29. Fuck, I do got a problem. I should have said 28.
Boy, listen, it's already starting. You careening towards middle age. This is how it starts. This is how it begins. You won't start forgetting more stuff. You're gonna get up, go to the kitchen, and don't even realize why you in. I'm not hungry. Why am I in here? Why is it cold in here? Who's calling me?
Oh God, I'm getting there.
I don't like. For me, it's more about understanding that it was about destabilizing our dollars, destabilizing our power base, because that whole agenda was pushed by the government, by the National Association for the Advancement of Corrupting People. And yeah, no, you sound about right. I'm not good with that. I think that the main thing should be us here foundationally, because any non-foundational person does not have a problem with delineation, except for when we say you can't cosplay as one of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And my whole thing is, you can't talk about doing anything until you're able to take care of yours. And we've gotten away from that. We want everybody else to come take care of us. I'm not on that. I want to be left alone so that I can take care of mine. And, you know, for people who feel like, well, the NAACP was good. No. No organization. You can't divorce the fruit of a thing from the root of a thing. The NAACP did not have a black president until my mother was pregnant with me. No. And I'm not here. I'm more of a Booker T. Washington guy versus a Du Bois guy. Because I think that talented 10th Negro stuff, you can miss me with it.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I know, right? And don't get me wrong, everybody with, I think the exception of one of my aunts and uncles went to college. And the one who didn't go to college had a really high job in the state. There's no way that happens unless my grandfather had maximum skills with his 6th grade having education. He put 9 kids through college. You know what I'm saying? Like my uncle Jimmy got arrested, so he got a doctorate. That's because James Lewis Sr. was out there working with his hands, running the Bud Company using these maximum skills. See, when you divorce black men and black people from a skill set that is evergreen, and you tell them that they have to have a degree, when 73% of Americans who have degrees are not working in the thing that they majored in, I call that scam. And I also call that systemic destabilization of the foundation of a community. And that's what we have. We got all these people with all these degrees, and it's still cold outside.
Yeah, that's a fact. Oh yeah, I like the way you said that on the Breakfast Club too. You got all these degrees, but you don't know the temperature of the people. Damn, that's a bar.
More degrees than the thermometer, and still don't know the temperature of our people.
Yeah, that's a bar. I mean, but that's a fact. Also, it's a fact because it's egregious. There's a lot of Negroes running around here, you know, yapping about shit that ain't got nothing to do with our progress. So yeah, that's a fact. It's a blessing. And I'd like to hear stuff like that from people that have degrees as well, because it makes it sound it's a little more legitimate. You know,
because that's the rumor. I have no degrees and I'm married to a white woman, and both of those things are false.
That's
again, I don't even. I should have asked I was just with my mom in Arizona like last week. I should have asked my mom where the rest of my degrees are, because I ain't got them. I got one in a drawer over here. Hold on. You think I'm playing? Hold on. I'll pull this bad boy. Hold on, I can find it. What I tell you, it's not even in a frame. This one of them right here.
But it's real though.
No, it's very real. That
look official. Now that don't look official for sure.
Yeah, but you see where it is. I had to hunt for it. I mean, for all that, I got karate certifications too.
Okay.
They're in a drawer full of paperwork.
Yeah.
Because nobody comes to me about my degree. They come to me for my skills.
Right.
They come to me for my gifts. They come to me for my talent.
That's real.
That's it. Anybody can learn a bunch of stuff long enough to regurgitate it for a midterm and a final. But what are you doing outside of the classroom? What does your community look like? How is your family set up? Where are you going? What have you built? Very few people, and a lot of people, when you start talking the way I talk, they like to ask you that question. Well, what have you built? A lot. Google's a snitch. It'll tell all my business. But that's the thing. I'm not coming from a place of, oh, it's hard. There's an episode of The Cosby Show I love where Denise brings this boy home and he seemed like a hippie. And he was just like, well, I think education is a construct. Like, what is an A? And Theo's like, yeah, I like this. And then he was like, oh, so like, what do you, and Bill Cosby was like, well, what are your grades? Like, he's like, oh, I get all A's. Like, I can learn some stuff and spit it back out to you like a daggone parrot, but that doesn't mean I know how to learn.
Right.
It just means I learned how to be an automaton. I know how to be what Rockefeller wanted us to be.
Exactly. That's a fact. Learn and apply those skills. That's a fact.
That's all.
Now,
yes,
we're
ma'am.
waiting to get to this part of the interview because
here we go. I knew here come. Watch out, y'all. Here come the mess. Get ready.
So, look, You know what's crazy
Yes,
is
ma'am.
I was just reacting to your videos, or to you, should I say?
Ah.
Just about 2 weeks ago. I think it was like a week or two ago, something like that. But you were on the Daily Wrap Up Crew
Yes.
podcast. Okay,
Yes.
shout out to the brothers over there doing some work over there. Be one business.
Love those brothers.
Yeah, they cool. I actually been subscribed to them for a little while, so yeah, I like them too.
Yes.
But yeah, you over on that podcast with them brothers with another guy.
Oh yeah,
Frank Zanu. Okay?
Frank Zanu.
Yeah.
David, you have to understand, David.
You know what? You know what's funny as hell? I think you slipped up in the beginning of the interview. You had imitated him for something he said. But you didn't do it again throughout the interview. But you did it the first time, and I think it was just because it was just kind of funny. Yeah, the way he talked is kind of just the accent is a lot.
But Zizi, what is that culture? Twerking? They have no culture, Zizi. What is that culture? What are taboos in the African American community? Bringing a white girl home, putting raisins in potato salad. Those are taboos. Right.
And come on now. And he knows that. I'm sure he knows that. But anyway, let me give you your flowers first.
Thank you.
Flowers first. I appreciate you standing on black business, black bully business. It was a blessing to see you. Check them. Come on now. Check them with the facts. It was a bless. Honestly, it was just good to see. Even the other young brothers, I know they was trying to be moderators. But even them at some point was just like, I think one of them was like, bro, I don't even fuck it. At this point, he not even it's not even no point. He's not like he doesn't care.
He doesn't want when you're not open to listen. Yeah, when you're not open to listen, there's nothing.
What are we doing here? You know, what kind of conversation are we gonna have if you're not listening? You know, it's not a conversation. Right. So but yeah, I appreciate y'all at least checking him and standing on black business and really exposing, our culture and our, why we are valid in this delineation movement. So that was just a beautiful thing to see. I love to see it. Now I also gotta say, I have to ask you, because one of the brothers did say it or like kind of call him it, but it was like along the lines of a question, so they didn't really call him it. Why didn't you call him a tether?
Okay, so let me explain something to you. I'm almost 50 years old, Susie. And for me, I was there to deal in facts. I let the kids handle that. I did say when I reacted to the initial clip where he was talking to Nancy, who is a Haitian, I did say it was tether babble. I think that for me, do I spend time calling this man names, or do I give this man an education like a man?
Yeah.
There's a time and a place. Like, there's plenty of people I can sit up here and be disrespectful to, and I do. I'm a habitual line stepper. However, that's not going to get me anywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. Period, point blank. And again, when I'm saying things like, do you know what Central Park is? It's a park. No. He called himself a tether at that point. Because you can sit up here, and if you go back and you watch it, now keep in mind, I'm sitting there. I got my black ass daughters off camera on the couch, literally about 1.5 feet away from me. So I'm not going to act an ape in front of my daughters. You understand what I'm saying to you? I'm still their father, right? The other part of that is when I'm talking to you, when you go back and you watch it, anytime I would bring up something historically factual, I can't check that. I don't know. I know. But then he wants to bring up all this stuff about some small little country that didn't exist when my mom went to the prom. But we got to know all this other stuff. So I'm like, nah.
Yeah, he was being, and that's really what it is for me, is that he was being so obviously intellectually dishonest.
Yes, he was very intellectually disingenuous in that interview.
Absolutely. And I'm just like, I felt like, and I didn't want you to like go crazy on a nigga or nothing like that, but I just felt like it had to be made clear by the end of that episode. It was so clear, like you said, he made it clear himself he was a tether. I just wanted to hear it come out of one of y'all, specifically yours. I really wanted you to say it. Brother, I appreciate the conversation. You are definitely a tether. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You want to do what you want. It's like something, because I'm like, oh, Jesus, this nigga's such a coon. It was just so egregious to listen to. I don't even know how you did it for that long.
But even with that, like if you go back and you watch, I even said, you got all this to say about us, but if you were to say the same thing about Jewish people, watch how fast they would cancel you. Like, I'm showing you, sometimes you got to let the person take that rope and either become cowboy or hang themselves. And we gave him enough rope to hang himself. Me calling him a tether, what does that do to the entire dismantling of everything that he said? Does it make it any more dismantling?
No.
So would you rather have me just been like, yeah, whatever you say, you a tether, you a tether, you a tether, and not hit him with my magical bag of facts?
No, I wanted you to do both.
You want me to do both. You just want it all. This is what I'm talking. And this is exactly why you are an Exodus woman. And let me explain what I mean by that, right? So, again, I'm one of these other things. I'm a theologian. I went to seminary. One of the things that I found very interesting in Exodus, like historians and theologians alike have determined that from Egypt to the promised land of our ancient people, right, is an 11-day walk. It took them 40 years because no matter what, there was some Negro going to Moses talking about, hey, dog, we need this. Hey, dog, we tired. Hey, dog, we need your brother to make us a god of gold. Like, I did what I could do for 3 hours.
You did, though. It was a long
And it's like, but you ain't call him a tether, Dave. Why ain't you tethering? You should have tarred and feathered it. You should have weighed and measured it.
Nah, you're right. You're right. That was a long ass podcast. It was a long time. It was a lot. It was a lot of words, a lot of word vomit. It was just talking a lot of yapping going on. So you did do a good job, even following through, even going through the bullshit, getting to the meat of what he was saying, getting to the meat and potatoes, because he was saying a whole lot with every damn question. It was a lot. So yeah, you did do a good job filtering through it and combating him and checking him for sure. I ain't even mad at you. I just didn't like him. I'm mad at him. That's what it is. I just wanted to see somebody going on and say, I don't like him. He's absolutely egregious. But that does make me curious about how you feel when you hear tethers like him, or you know what, before I get to that question, let me just double back, because that video actually did really well. How did you feel about some of the response you've seen from that video? It was a lot of people that made like reaction videos, response videos. How do you feel about the virality of the video?
Respectfully, listen, I go viral 2-3 times a month. Like, for me, I'm just doing my work. Like, I don't get caught up in that a lot. Like, do I see comments? Sure. Do I see some stuff? Oh, we should have got Tariq. And well, I just saw Tariq when I just did Hidden Color 6. I'm sure Tariq would love to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not Tariq. I don't pretend to be Tariq. And by the way, Tariq's not an FBA leader. He just happens to be an FBA. That's prominent. So you can't lead a lineage. Okay. Like, it's absolutely insane. So for me, like, a lot of people who have so much to say, who are playing armchair Monday morning quarterback to a situation that they were not in, and may or may not have the intellectual fortitude to combat somebody on things they do not understand. We're the only people who have to defend our right to be who we are. Mm-hmm. We had to hodgepodge absolutely everything. We can't go and do what they do because, and again, no diss, I just state facts. You don't have to like the facts. I don't care how you feel about the facts, but here's the facts. Haitians put their flags up in their daggone profiles. Jamaicans put their flags up in their profiles. Nigerians, Ghanaians, Kenyans, everybody put their flag up.
Yeah.
We say America. Oh, no, we are African American. No. And I've been saying this way before anybody was on this FBA movement thing. Charlize Theron is an African American. Elon Musk, he's an African American. Barack Obama is an African American. Mm-hmm. I'm not an African American. And well, don't your roots come from Africa? Absolutely. So does every other human being. We have a right to our own culture, because I don't see anybody going to Haitians and be like, you're African Haitian. you're African Jamaican. It's only us because we're the only ones that anybody wants to cosplay as. Because we are the best of the best of the best.
That's
period,
a fact.
point blank.
Yeah, and the
That's
most
it.
imitated. That's a fact. Yeah, absolutely. Now I had to ask you that because I want to know also, because Frank is egregious, but he's really just like the he's just the pinnacle of what a tether is, to be honest. So I just want to know what is your advice. So how do you feel? What's your stance on Black Americans engaging with these tethers and these sorts of conversations? Because a lot of these people just use time wasting tactics, they use weaponized incompetence. So it's not a productive conversation. Even like we were just saying with Frank, at a certain point, it was like, you're not even listening. What are we doing? It's like, come on. So we're not getting anywhere. So how do you feel about us? Like, where do we draw the line in the sand? And talking to these and engaging with these tethers, or these not even the non-FBAs who may not be, maybe we don't want to put tether on them, but they got some tether, they
got some tether tendencies.
Exactly. I'm saying? So how do you feel about that?
Well, here's my thing. I own my time, so I can do what I want with my time. If you can do that and still make a living, sure, knock yourself out. If you can't and you have bigger things to do, then don't. Like, I write books, I speak, I coach, I start, scale, and build businesses. So I have the luxury of being able to engage and decipher tether babble. Most people don't, and I don't think everybody should. I don't think that everybody should be doing the same thing. And that in and of itself is important. I think the one thing that you do need to do, and I think all foundational Black Americans need to do, is you need to read They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima. You need to read Before the Mayflower by Lerone Bennett Jr. And you need to read The Real Black Agenda by me. That I think that's just required reading before you go out here,
I would agree. I think
just to talk it.
Now I'm glad you said that anyways, that's required reading, because it is The Real Black Agenda. It was a very and I didn't even have a chance. I didn't have enough time, because when I got the book, I haven't got into it, but I read a good portion of your book, and it's very easily digestible. I will say that, very easy read.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, not complicated. What you gonna say? What?
No, I was going to say yes, ma'am. Like, a lot of people, like, I saw somebody on Amazon said, I thought he was going to, use these in big words. And I'm trying to speak to my people. The Wall Street Journal is on a 6th grade level. The newspapers are on a 3rd to 5th grade level. Same thing with the news broadcast. So why am I going to talk over the audience? Like, if you want me to start using big words like amelioration or exacerbation, I could do that too. I got a Mensa pen. However, I'm talking to everybody who is foundational. So I'm trying to make sure that as many people as humanly possible can understand what I'm saying. Why do I have to give you a doctoral thesis to say, make sure you understand that the government is making money on you one way or the other? Abortion's a scam. You need to start building your family up. We need to be politically sound. We need to make sure we got to do something other than the BS we've been fed and told to do. I don't think I need to talk with $20 words in order to get a point across. And so, yeah, I wanted to make it simple, easy, and I didn't want it to be boring.
It wasn't actually. There was a couple parts in it that was like saying it in a motivational way, which is weird. Or like, it sounded like something I could say to somebody to get them to do something. Like, what I'm saying? Like, it just was. It's like you said, you were speaking to us. It makes sense. It felt like I was having a conversation or listening to somebody who was just speaking to me. So, it was a great balance of information and strategy. You going back and even history, because you have a lot of history, a lot of facts, references in there. So yeah, I think it was a great balance, to be honest, for sure. But I do want to talk about one part of your book where you said, I thought was very interesting. You was talking about the shift in what our elders was fighting for and what we were and what we are. You said that they were fighting for stability because it was a luxury, to us now fighting for legacy. I just love the way you worded that. But can you just expound on that a little bit, and the differences and how that affects us, kind of listening to the elders? Because the elders still love, some of these elders still out here active and want to be in these political or social streets, but baby boy, different.
Baby girl. Listen, I believe that you should have, young men for war and elders for counsel. I
Mhm.
do think that there's a time where we need to step up. And I think that time was 10, 15 years ago. And so the second best time is right now. I think that our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents were focusing on creating an environment that was stable enough for us to get past, right? The whole good time scratching and surviving, as opposed to what we have now, which is the greatest opportunity for us to be as great as we possibly could be, and weaponizing that greatness in a way that benefits us first, right? And I think a lot of times we get so caught up in what we think we should do versus what actually happens. And so that's just how that goes. And I also think it is extremely important for us to occupy the lanes that we're meant to occupy, right? But we've got to start realizing that we're not struggling, right? Psychologically, we are not struggling in the financial realm. We're not struggling in our ability to be creative. We're struggling in systematizing our monetization. In other words, we don't have anything to duplicate or make over and over and over the things that we create. We just create something and say, boom, it's done. That's not how that works. We got to have systems in place that we own and that we control. The reason that we keep going for a record deal is the same reason why so many people stand in line at a movie theater when you could just go on your phone, order the tickets, the popcorn, and the daggone nachos, and walk your behind in the theater. It's because we've been conditioned to tradition more than we have understanding that times have changed. And so for us, it's not about stability. It's about growth, strategy, and thriving at this point.
No, absolutely. That's a fact. And that's what I'm like, I just like the way that's worded, between that stability was a luxury, because I don't think a lot of this new generation don't understand that. A lot of us don't understand that the things that we take advantage of were luxuries, because some of us do, fortunately, do live in stable households. But many of us were not, and many of us still aren't, to be honest. But again, it's a misunderstanding between the last generation and this one, and future ones. But you also said you can't raise your kids, you can't raise free kids, so free children, with a slave owner mindset. What do you mean by that? Oh, 1 second, my bad. Let me get to the super chat. Thank you very much.
Get to the super chat.
Much respect to this broadcast. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think what happens is we continue to raise our children in fear, right? I remember when I was in Nashville, Fahrenheit 9/11 had come out. And I'm watching this movie, and Michael Moore starts to break down how the media constantly feeds you fear over and over and over and over again. And if you watch certain things, even now, they'll do stuff like this. What's in your apples in your house could kill you tonight at 11. First of all, if something was wrong with your apples, there would have been a recall, and you would not have to wait till tonight at 11. That's an appointment setting prompt that they're conditioning with. Oh, I got to watch Action News at 11 because they're going to tell me what's wrong with the apples. Honey, don't eat the apples. No. The truth of the matter is there is poison in every single apple. It's in the seed, and you would have to eat an orchard full of apples in about a 5-hour period for you to even come close to dying. But if I get you to believe that you're afraid to eat the apples, that's a problem. That's why the beef industry sued Oprah Winfrey over I'm scared of mad cow. Because we focus on fear. So the fear is you go out here, you're going to get shot. And you go for your dreams, you're not going to make it. If you don't, get your hair cut a certain way, if you don't dress a certain way, if you don't act a certain way, then you won't be successful in the dominant society. And the truth of the matter is Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King all got killed in a suit.
Yeah.
It don't matter how you dress. It matters what you're doing. Are we creating legacies? Are we putting ourselves in a position to unlock our children's mind. You know, my favorite verse in the Bible says, "Be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." My mother really didn't put limits on me, neither did my dad. They had two different ways about going about things, but both of them wanted me to be what made me happy and also what made me the most productive. And there were times where I would want to do something that kind of veered off a path that did not make sense for me. For example, I told my dad one day, I said, "Dad, I think I'm going to be a lawyer." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because if I become a lawyer, then eventually I can be, you know, U.S. attorney, and then I can be, you know, state attorney general, then I can be the attorney general, and then you ain't got to catch the bad guys, and then you and mom can reconcile." And like, this is how a kid thinks. And then so my father said, "Well, let's break this down." And he went through every single area of law he knew I'd probably be interested in. Right? If you go into criminal law, you're either going to be a prosecutor or a defense attorney. If you're a prosecutor, you got to deal with death threats, and then you have to deal with the quota. If you are a defense attorney, you have to deal with losing. If you lose, then the mob could come after you. Like, he starts breaking it down, and I was like,
Yeah, damn, for real.
Yeah, just he said, just think about it and just get back to me. You know?
Wow.
My mom, on the other hand, was like, "Oh yeah, you could be district attorney." So one day I go to my mom, right after I get my first gig in radio. She says, "Yeah, I know you're doing the radio thing. That's cute, but that ain't gonna make no money." So I took the bus to the Northwest Regional Library, and I went down in their archives, and I found the article of Tom Joyner getting a deal with K104 and WGCI in Chicago and how much money he made from that deal. And I got it printed off from the microfiche, and I took it home. I said, "Mom, this is what Tom Joyner did." And she was like, "Go, baby, go." You know, and then I wasn't allowed to quit anything. So if I were to do something, I had to do it all the way to completion, or I couldn't do it at all. Or if I quit it, I could never pick it back up as long as I lived in my mother's house.
Okay.
You know, and my wife says all the time, she's like, "Dave, you had something that most people don't grow up having."
Yeah,
I said, "What?"
for real.
Your mom wouldn't let you quit nothing. You don't know how to quit. She was like, "You're relentless." That's it. Oh, somebody says, "I know bro's a chronic alcoholic. His puffy eyes say stuff." No, my puffy eyes are genetic. And because I lost a lot of weight, like everybody in my family has these. Now, my father's side of the family, they weren't alcoholics. A lot of them were drunks. Alcoholics go to meetings. I have maybe 3 drinks a year. I'm not a big fan of alcohol. So, but I mean, good on you, Daniel, whatever the hell your name is. Sit back in your cubicle and get ready for work tomorrow, numb nuts. Anyway.
just hate in the comments, man.
I love it. I love them. I need more of that.
Yeah, you need it.
I need that. I need more of these donations and dashikis.
Exactly. No, that is though. I'm glad your wife told you that though, because that is something that a lot of people, unfortunately, especially now, Lord Jesus, the parenting now is the greatest. Matter of fact, I actually let me ask you that.
Yeah.
What are I'm gonna just do maybe two. I guess we could just do. What are 2 fundamental things or things parents need to teach their children when it comes to business? What is something they should learn as a child?
2 fundamental things. The first one is you're going to fail. I have learned nothing in success. Everything that I have learned has come from abject failure. I'll give you some examples, right? 2003. Again, I'm in Nashville. A buddy of mine named Aaron Hardison. We created a company called hitmeonthehip.com. It was based off of 2-way paging. I had Birdman endorsing this thing. I had Beyonce endorsing this thing. Like, it was going to be huge. Next thing you know, text messaging in your phone. Done. Right. I had another business where I would like do commercials and send commercials out via MP3 in an era where people were still sending out commercials on reels and FedExing them to different radio stations, different promoters, whatever the case may be. So I came up with a company called mp3imaging.com. Failed because people were so afraid. This is coming off of Y2K. People were so afraid that if you opened up an attachment of an MP3 in your email, that you were going to get some type of virus. That sounds crazy and stupid today, but in that time, that fear was real. I learned that sometimes it's not about being too late. You can be too early on something. And so it taught me to wait. I teach my kids. And what I think everybody should teach your kids is, number 1, be prepared to fail and be okay when failing, because that's how you learn. The second thing is, the CEO, I know a lot of people running around here talking about CEO ain't got a board of directors. The person who owns the company is usually the last person to get paid. Everybody gets their money first. Uncle Sam get his money first. Your team gets their money first. All the vendors, all the bills, they get their money first. And if there's something left over, maybe, just maybe, you get something. Are you prepared to deal with that? Right? You know, look, I ain't gonna lie to you. There've been times where, you know, when I was starting this thing, we had sunflower seeds for dinner. A lot of people ain't prepared to do that. Months without cable. 2-3 months without a cell phone. Like in the beginning, it was bad. So can you hack that? Do you have what it takes? If the answer is no, there's no shame in that. There's a cubicle waiting for you. But if you're willing to do the work, I think that those are the things. You got to get your kids conditioned to understand that this is a long-term game in order for a long-term gain. And that's that.
Fact. No, absolutely. I love that. I love that. I think that's something that right there within itself just should be taught to children, you know, that it is, you know, it's a marathon. You know, this is not something that you're going to get just instantly. No. And that's something that's going to last though. So, you know, you don't want something that's going to come quick because it's going to go quick at that. So yeah, that's a blessing. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Now I watched your I just wanted to ask because I don't know if you said this. I feel like I couldn't see a post of you actually explaining why didn't the because I went and watched it on your page, the Breakfast Club interview. Why didn't they post it?
That is a question for the Breakfast Club.
Really? You haven't talked to him?
Oh, I've talked to him.
What do you?
I've talked to him. It depends on which time. So the first thing he said, and again, I could run the tape, but I'm not going to, but I will say this. The first time he said, well, you know, they're vetting people based on, you know, some things happen with Envy and they vet people because you said you had this many employees and this, that, and the third. And I said, I even explained to you a lot of times, this is what happens, right? When you don't understand how fractional ownership works, you can't understand what I'm saying because a lot of these people do business. They don't do business. And somebody else is pulling the strings, right? It's like watching the Muppets. If you watch the Muppets, you don't realize that Elmo is not saying this. It's a man up Elmo's ass moving Elmo's mouth. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. Same thing for, hi, Harold, this is Kermit the Frog here. Like, you're not doing it. I'm the puppet and the puppet master. And so when you don't understand that you can own several companies and each one of those companies has a certain amount of employees and my main company has this many, it sounds foreign to you. The other part of that is rooted in self-hate because you can't believe that somebody who you knew way back when all of a sudden started amassing very quietly, very discreetly, a certain amount of things. So that's the first part. The second time it was, well, you went to All Hip Hop and this, that, and third. Now let me explain something to you. I'm on a book tour. I am promoting a book. I've had media lined up since April 21st of 2025, and I'm still touring. So it's not uncommon for me to do a Breakfast Club or All Hip Hop, you know, a Morning Hustle in Atlanta, 3 Milli Podcast, Art of Dialogue, all that, right? I haven't done Art of Dialogue yet. I would like to, but I haven't.
Oh yeah, you
and
should.
So the other part of that is if you watch that interview in its entirety, which is why I know what I say, and I've learned very early on that if you don't protect yourself by making sure that you taped what happened, they'll act like it never happened. But when I start talking about things that may or may not, and this is for you to judge, not for me, that are counterproductive to the status quo, when I start talking about how abortions are making billions of dollars for people who are not Black off of people who are, when we start talking about the food desert apocalypse, when we start talking about how Black women, if we're going to talk about my body, my choice, and we're going to talk about women's reproductive health, we stop that conversation with abortion and we don't talk about the fact that uterine fibroids are directly connected to chemical relaxers, that it does not matter if you are a Black woman who is rich or a Black woman who is poor, because both Beyonce and Serena Williams almost died on the table giving birth. We don't have the whole conversation about what it means when it comes to a Black woman's health choices, right? And again, if you want to have an abortion, that's your business. I just want you to have all the information before you make it your business. And so when I'm saying these things and I'm talking about the fact that we don't have a whole lot of culturally competent doulas by and large in the same amount that we have Margaret Sanger's Planned Parenthoods and the adjacent abortion clinics all throughout our neighborhoods. And you're telling me, well, Erykah Badu's a doula. And I know that because my goddaughter, Erykah Badu, brought into the world. Like, you can't run on me what you run on other people. And then the other part of that, compared to the other 3-4 times I've been on the show, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm talking about FBA business. I'm not there to sell a course. I'm not there to coach you. I am there to talk about the things that we need to do and solve. But by all means, let's make sure that Dank DeMoss pulls up a bench because she couldn't get into a Kia Sportage. Let's make sure, that Blueface, comes up there and talks about which Tatiana he's busting down this week, because those things are moving Black people forward. So again, it's not up for me, but you can go to thebusinessbully.com/breakfast club and you can watch the whole thing in its entirety and you figure out why they didn't run it. That is a conversation for them. And then on top of that, I had another show because I'm on a book tour. I had another show in that building several months later. And I pulled up on them. Their executive producer was there, and I've known their executive producer for 30 years. And I said, all right, man, well, what is it? He was like, what are you talking about? I said, why hasn't this aired? Well, you talked to Charlamagne twice. And he was just like, so there's also the theory that maybe, just maybe, when I show up, it's not the same level of intellect. Because everybody has a role. Like when I put together morning shows, right? When I put together Ricky Smiley, right? You got Ricky because he's the funny guy. He's also the host of the show. You had Head Crack, who was hip hop and kind of ran the board. Yeah, Juicy, who answered the phone and she was a little person. You've got Rock T, who's just there to do sports and laugh. You put together elements of a show so that it's a round show. Envy's a DJ. And he's the straight man on the show, not sexually, but he's the one who doesn't do a whole lot of the jokey joke, right? You got Just Hilarious, who does the jokes. You've got Lauren LaRosa, who comes in and does news. And you got Charlamagne, who's the intellectual. Until an intellectual shows up.
Yeah, that's real.
But again, you would have to ask them as to why. I have not gotten a definitive answer. And if, in fact, we go with the first theory of, well, maybe it's because they needed to vet something. As a business person, if I need to vet something, my attorney would be reaching out. Somebody would fact check. And as an executive producer, retired, of nationally syndicated shows, if I'm going to vet something, I'm picking up the phone to vet this. Can you show me this? Can you send me that? Like, it's not a big thing to do. It's not hard at all. So all of those things under scrutiny, under the light of scrutiny, if you have 2 connected brain cells and an ounce of common sense, none of those hold up. So if it's not the business, then it must be personal.
That's what it sounds like. When was this? When did y'all record that?
June 25th.
Shit. Yeah, child, we almost in December. January. That's crazy as hell. Yeah, that sounds like egregious. That sounds like it's some egregious things going on behind the scenes that ain't got shit to do with that interview. So yeah, unfortunate, but either way, like he said, y'all can definitely go to his website to watch it. The link is in the description. I put all this stuff now. I put your link tree in the description. So they can go watch that because it is a good interview. It was a good interview though. And I did watch the one from a few years ago too. You was talking about BullyCon. Do you still do that? Or
I'm going to bring BullyCon back in 26. I took some time off. The last time I had rented the Apollo Theater, and we are going to do it in the Apollo Theater in August of 2020.
Oh, okay.
And this thing, coronavirus, happened, and so I had to pivot very quickly. And we decided to do CoronaCon. So it was arguably the first online celebrity digital business conference.
Oh wow!
In April of 2020, I did CoronaCon. We had like David Banner, Reza Islam. Like it was a foundational cavalcade of people who had some real good foundational Black American things to do. So,
damn. Okay, but you did it online. But you want to do it? You want to try to bring it back in person?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to bring it back in person next year.
Nice.
We'll probably go someplace exotic. You know.
Okay, well, let me know about that. I'm with it. I might have to pull up on the BrotherCon.
Pull up on me. Pull up on me.
Thank you for that super chat. Ami, you held it down on the Breakfast Club. They couldn't even keep up. Yeah, that's a fact, though. Low key. I think you was you kind of threw Jess off too.
See, the thing that people don't understand, like, if you don't know me, you don't understand. I'm a Laugh House original. I predate Kevin Hart at the Laugh House. Like, I started doing stand-up when I was 19 years old.
Oh,
so you're not going to out joke me. I wrote for comedians. I wrote for Ricky Smiley. I wrote for George Wallace. Like, I have written for I have been writing jokes since I was 19 years old and performing since I was 19 years old. So you're not going to out jokey joke me. That's why I'm quick. Right? You're not going to out news me because I've been in a newsroom since I was 10 years old. I read War and Peace cover to cover when I was 4, and I'm dyslexic. So you're not going to try and out intellectualize somebody, especially when you didn't even take the time to read the book.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes. And again,
even the questions they asked about the book, I'm like, why the fuck? Like, I forgot to like the 3rd chapter. I'm like, they could have asked like 5 different questions.
See,
basic ass shit they was asking. This is crazy.
The thing that bothers me more than anything is that I put on a nice suit. I went up there. I mean, I literally could have been doing a million and one other things. If you weren't even going to take it seriously,
right?
Then why bother?
That's why I'm like, damn, I didn't have that much time to prepare for this joint, but I at least skimmed through the rest of the book. I couldn't thoroughly read, and that's how I got some more of my information that I wanted, or some of the information for my questions. But that's actually insane though. They are too big of a platform to be doing shit like that. That's crazy. Matter of fact, speaking of that, you said in the book, the Black agenda is made of 3 pillars: ownership, institutional control, and generational continuity. Break that down for the people right quick, please.
If you don't own something, you can't control it, right? When it comes to controlling something, you got to move a certain way, right? And then the other part of that for me is that it gets to a point where we're looking for external validation and external sources for an internal in-house problem. We have to fix ourselves. We have to manage ourselves. We have to operate for ourselves. We have to build systems. And that is the most important thing. And so if we don't have those 3 pillars, we're lost. And that's why you see so many people running around here like chickens with their heads cut off.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah, unfortunately, control is the ultimate solution for sure. You know, we have to control
really
our own. It is.
Everybody else does.
Yeah.
And ours. They control theirs and ours.
Yeah, that's a fact. Matter of fact, speaking of that, let's get into reparations right quick. What's 3 things FBAs need? What's the 3 major? Let me say that because I've heard you already speak on reparations and you talk about it in the book a little bit as well. So I kind of already know, but I want you to tell the people, what do you think are the 3? Give me 3 at least major things we need for reparations. First 3. Give me the first 3 we need.
We need an agenda whether it's mine or somebody else's. Right? Because what tends to happen is we start hearing people talk about, well, wait, how are you going to break the money down? And what if they're just going to put the money back in? Shut up. This is what we need to do. One of my favorite movies is Armageddon. And in that movie, I don't know if you've ever seen it. If you haven't, you got to watch it. It's a phenomenal movie. It's Michael Clark Duncan, Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck. It's a phenomenal movie. And basically an asteroid is coming towards Earth. And they hire these drillers, these offshore drillers, to get on a rocket ship to go break this asteroid up so that they can save the world. And the government says, well, what do you want? We shouldn't have to pay taxes, right? Like, we should have our education covered. And when I say taxes, I mean federal. You should still be paying into the state and the municipality. But from a federal standpoint, if you want to give something that's owed that goes just beyond the check, right? We need to make sure that we have solid investment in institutions. You know, like, do you know how many black banks there are in this country right now?
You actually said this on the show. I think I remember. Let me guess. 3? Is it
7? There's 7. There's 22, but 17 are actually black owned.
Okay, 17. I was going to say 19. I just went lower. My bad.
It's all good. But the thing of it is, we need to make sure that we're investing. When I got my student loan, from the United Bank of Philadelphia, which is a black owned bank. So like I've been at this at least since 95. I think that in and of itself is important. Then the other part of that is we also have to move the needle beyond the slavery argument, because what happens is when we just talk about slavery, we don't talk about the injustices that continue to happen. For example, if you have a house and it gets appraised, like look at what Wells Fargo has done, it Chase has done, a lot of folks have done this, where I sound like Donald Trump. A lot of folks have done this, but they will come in and appraise a house and see that it's black people and automatically appraise it for less. Then you take that same house, you have somebody else appraising it's white people in the house, like pictured, then all of a sudden the appraise is higher. Like that type of stuff is crazy. Redlining is crazy. Why is it there's so many businesses that when you look at comparatively, they have the same credit score, they have the same credit history, the whole nine, but they can't buy an inch of land in the community that they live in, but everybody else can come in and take that money out. We also have to start teaching financial literacy and get those things paid for. Also, it does not make any sense that we don't have our situation set up for entrepreneurship, meaning that less than 3% of all SBA loans go to FBA people. That's a travesty. And we don't talk about how that needs to change. It's not about just a handout. It's about structured repayment and repair. Because whether you are a citizen or not, whether you are an FBA or not, everybody has benefited off of 400 years of free Black American labor. Right? Then you also need to go back and look up every single patent that you can find that we got taken from us because they weren't allow us to patent things. We also have to look at every single financial crime that has happened. We need to go through each one of these HBCUs with a fine-tooth comb and see how many scholarships and grants got taken from people. I know people personally who have dealt with, the corruption that happens at HBCUs when it comes to that. Like, we need to examine absolutely everything and make sure that we're going after those folks. And if folks have a history of benefiting off of that, then they need to cut the check too. So it's not just the government, it's the government and everybody who is in on the conspiracy, because it doesn't happen anyplace else. When Japanese Americans were taken from their home in World War II and put in internment camps, taken from their businesses, taken from their loved ones, when they got out, they were repaired. We help facilitate reparations for Jewish people. We've done reparations for absolutely everybody. You've got, all these $5 natives that aren't native who got programs that were supposed to be directly beneficial for us, and they got repaired, and we have not. There's a lot of repair that still needs to happen, because right now, here's why I'm pissed. The problem with Black America, by and large, is the Democrat Party. That does not mean that I'm in bed with the Republican Party. I'm talking about what we do. At a 90% clip, we vote for Democrats. And what have we gotten for it? No one can name 3 tangible things that Democrats have done for Black people in the past 60 years beyond LBJ signing the Civil Rights Bill, which he famously called the N-word bill and told MLK to his face, "You're going to have to hold me to it." We can't name nothing, but for 60 years, here's what they do. Oh, Mitt Romney's a racist. We're going to take on Mitt Romney. Oh, John McCain's a racist. We're going to take on John McCain. Oh, I'm going to stand up against President Trump. You got people running for dog catcher talking about, I'm taking on Donald Trump. Donald Trump I don't know this man. I've never seen him, but he's running for dog catcher. Like, how can I be like that? They're eating the cats, talking about the dog in me. Like, at some point, we got to stop letting these Democrats talk about the boogeyman they're fighting and start talking about the tangibles. But it's amazing how Minnesota, who's run by a Democrat, Tampon Tim, who says little boys need tampons in the bathroom, how Tim Walz is sitting up here saying that the Somalians, who are not FBAs, the Somalians, look at me. I'm the captain now. I'm the captain now. They're running $1 million daycare businesses and healthcare businesses with absolutely no children in them.
I seen that.
Ilhan Omar got how do you go from a $250,000 net worth to a $30 million net worth last year? See, we got to start examining the tethers too, because they need to repair us. Because all that money that they're taking, we need to go up in Chicago and see why Brandon Johnson took money out that COVID relief fund that was supposed to be for tax-paying Black folks, because he put all of the illegals in the Black neighborhoods, in the Black housing tenements, in the Black Section 8 housing. And why don't we have him come to bear? Why aren't we taking articles of impeachment to his ass. Why aren't we holding Rahm Emanuel, who left the Obama White House to go down and ruin Chicago some more, to task? Lori Lightfoot spent millions of dollars to try and prosecute Jussie Smollett. Like, there's plenty of people we need to talk about. I think the people from Osage Avenue, who experienced the move bombing when I was 7 years old, need to get repair from the city of Philadelphia. I think Eatonville needs to get repair from the state of Florida. There's a lot of ways we can do this that does not involve slavery, that just involves injustices that have happened specifically based on race, which, according to the Civil Rights Act, should not have happened in the first place. But I digress.
And what's your way of going? Because, you know, there's I'm not going to say there's one way to fight, but what do you think is the most progressive or constructive way for Black Americans to fight for reparations? We in the streets, we protest, and we in the city hall, we, you know, electing politicians. Are we doing, you know, what do you think is the most impactful?
Get in shape, get a gun, train, start building your businesses, and start getting whole and term life insurance policies for everybody in your family. See, when you're prepared and you're about that life, things change. Nobody's taking us seriously because we don't take ourselves seriously. Everybody's not a 10. Everybody ain't in round is not a shape when it comes to body size. It is not. If you want to be built like Barney and Grimace, go sit down. I don't want you talking about repairing nothing. You can't even repair your cells. So we really gotta start looking at how we can better ourselves, and then we have to plan and stop including everybody in your plan. When the last time you went and sat in on a Chinatown meeting? Never. When the last time you know what the Italians are doing? See, my problem with us is not the crime. It's the lack of organization. See, when you look at the Irish, when you look at the Jews, when you look at the Italians, they all created mobs, not because they wanted to go rob and steal. They wanted to protect their communities. And they were not given whiteness until right around the time my mom was in elementary school. So their whiteness is new. But before their whiteness, and even still, like when Kennedy became president, that was a big deal because he was a Catholic. That was like, no, Irish Catholic at that, right? So when you understand that they created those mobs so that they could focus on doing what they needed to do, Black people got the crime part right, but we missed the organization completely. That's it.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to do a quick speed round to finish this interview off. It's going to be 5 questions, nothing too crazy. You don't have to give me one-word answers. You don't have to give me one-word answers, but you can give me a couple of sentences, just short, straight to the point answers. Okay,
absolutely.
A little fire round for you.
Let's do it.
First things first. You know, Black people don't fuck with the police. You think we should call call ICE on illegals?
Yes.
Should bi-ethnics represent foundational Black Americans?
I'm sorry, what?
Should bi-ethnics, people with two allegiances to two countries, or, you know, a parent from Jamaica, a parent from America, a parent from Haiti, a parent from Africa, whatever. But should they be able to represent foundational Black Americans in any sort, political, social, whatever?
Where do their loyalties lie? That's a case by case.
Okay.
If your loyalty is with Jamaica, take your ass to Jamaica and then go talk to King Charles. If your loyalty is with your foundational Black American family, then again, I ain't got no issue with that. Like, I mean, even with that, you look at Malcolm, you look at, like, come on, man, I don't have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? I do have an issue when tethers start telling Black people what they need to be doing, because I want all Black people to get together. It hasn't happened on the 54 countries in Africa. It ain't gonna happen here. So yeah, no, I'm good. I didn't even know what a bi-ethnic was until just now. You just put a wrinkle on my brain. Congratulations.
Well, you're welcome. Massachusetts mayor, he was at a meeting with a translator. Literally, he needed the person to translate English He's the fucking mayor of Massachusetts. But do you think immigrants should be allowed in political office? In
No,
political space?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Here's my thing. If you can't be president without being born here, why should you even be a stone's throw away from any serious office that involves Americans? You look at how these Somalians are talking about Elian Omar, or I don't know the lady's name. I just know she ain't one of us. And they're like, she's in there representing for Somalia. She's American.
Yeah.
What you mean she representing for Somalia? You can't serve two masters. Ain't that what the Bible say?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I am America first. I need people to understand that this is my country. I ain't going nowhere. So all the tethers who tell me, well, why don't you just go? You can go to Africa. You can repatriate. Take your black ass back there.
Please.
But the truth of the matter is, you talented tether tenths came over here. You got your little bag up because y'all are the best of the worst. Because the truth of the matter is, I'm sorry on this one. I'm with the president. A lot of those countries are shithole countries, and that's why they come here. Because if they weren't, they'd be back there fixing their homeland. But you gonna come up in my house and tell me in my house what I need to be doing? This ain't your situation, homeboy. So yeah, no, I don't. I got to think about people who are not American telling Americans what they need to do. They should never be put in positions of power to tell Americans what to do.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I'm
You think Trump is going to help America start paying off their debt to foundational Black Americans? Do you think Trump will be the one to initiate reparations?
No, but I think he's inadvertently doing a lot for us right now, getting them out of here. Let me tell you something. All I want Trump to do is find Rob Van Winkle. Rob Van Winkle needs to do a video, and he needs to start singing my favorite song. Doom 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 doom. Ice, ice, baby. Get them out. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Get them out. Get them out of here immediately. Why am I explain to me what sense it makes for me to pay for somebody else's education when I got my own children's education to pay for? What sense does it make for me to pay for somebody else's food when the cost of groceries are absolutely astronomical? Why am I paying for somebody else to learn a skill when, like, none of this adds up for me? It has not made America better. And the other part of that is Democrats wanted a better voter base because Black people are starting to wise up. And even if they're no voting or they're voting the other side, folks are in a panic. Go back and look at what Joe Biden said. He told a group of Black leaders that my good friend late Julia Hare would say were leading Blacks that if y'all want to do something, you have to give it to Hispanics. He also said that he authorized 170 miles of wall, but he wasn't going to do nothing for Black folks. His vice president said that, she was on the second class of being bused, but she went to school in Canada. And then, she did the We Did It, Joe. And she also said that she wasn't going to do anything specifically for Black people. But then she showed up at Al Sharpton's National Action Network and said that she was going to sign a reparations bill if she ever became president. So, yeah, no, don't trust it. Don't like it. Don't want it.
Heard that. Understood. Was 50 kicking a black man while he was down with that docuseries?
100%, but he was just the weapon they used. See, Puff was fine doing all this. First of all, a couple things. I know too much, but I'm going to tell you what I do know. Puff didn't invent the freak off. Let's just, I mean, I was in the entertainment industry since I was 9 years old. Seen a lot of things. What I will say to you is this. How is it that we talk so much about what Puff did, but we don't talk about the fact that Clive Davis partied while Whitney Houston lay drowning in a bathtub? We don't talk about the fact that Clive Davis went and replaced Phyllis Hyman with Whitney Houston because Phyllis Hyman was about that life. And then Phyllis Hyman mysteriously wound up dead. Why is it we don't talk about the fact that Clive Davis told Andre Harrell allegedly that his time was up, and the next thing you know, Puffy gets fired, but then Puffy disappears for a week and nobody can find him, and then he comes from wherever he was with Clive Davis and gets a check for Craig Mack and Biggie to start Bad Boy. What do you think he was doing that weekend? I don't know. I'm just saying. Somebody else invented the freak off. And so my thing is 50 Cent is a really good troll. I feel like there are certain people, and again, I love 50. I got nothing against 50. I just call balls and strikes. I think that 50 is doing what he needs to do, and none of this would be happening if Puff didn't smash his baby moms.
I heard about that.
That's all this comes down to.
Yeah.
You know, but my whole thing is this, right? If you're going after Puff and you're not going after everybody else, right? Clive Davis is also the same person that acted like he didn't know what Milli Vanilli was doing, but you can go right now on Peacock and on Paramount Plus and watch the Milli Vanilli documentary and see that Clive Davis is on tape knowing that he was orchestrating that whole Milli Vanilli, Blame It on the Rain, singing and lip syncing stuff. So yeah, of course he's kicking a black man while he's down, but that's what they do. They send one of us to do it. The same way, if I were to ask you, right, do you know who Jim Ackerman is?
I think so. I feel like the name sounds familiar. Who is that?
Do you know who Mona Scott is?
Yeah, that's
Who's
Love and
Mona
Hip Hop.
Scott? Oh,
Love and Hip Hop.
wrong.
Mhm.
Mona Scott is the face of Love and Hip Hop. Jim Ackerman created Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, okay, got you.
So they put black faces in high places in white spaces so that you think that this person's responsible, so they can take their hands off. The same way Bill Clinton said, "Oh, well, you know, with the crime bill, yeah, the black leaders came to us and told us that they needed this." No, the black leaders were forced by the Congressional Black Caucus, aka the Tethernators, and the Tether Nation. And the Tether Nation said, "Yeah, we need this crime bill signed." And so if you blame black people for what black people said that they wanted because you told them that they wanted it because of fear, that's what winds up happening. And yes, I know Mona Scott's a Tether. You're only making my point.
Oh, I didn't know she was a Tether. Is she a Tether?
She's Haitian.
I didn't know that. Did I know that? I don't think I knew that. Oh wow, that makes sense why she has so much egregious showing us in such an egregious light. That makes a lot of sense. Gotcha. I don't think I knew that one, at least. Maybe I haven't heard it.
I mean, all the mess is usually done by tethers or palm colored people who are puppeting the tethers. Media takeout, shade room, all of that is tether mess.
DJ Small Ass. Oh yeah. A lot of these people do have their only content is us doing some degenerate nonsense. It's egregious. But I absolutely peep that it's that they're tethers. Most of them are tethers for sure. Matter of fact, bonus question: do you think we should boycott and deplatform these tether gossip blogs?
The fact that we're still buying into these weapons of mass distraction is insane to me. That's my next book, by the way, Weapons of Mass Distraction.
Good title.
Yeah, no, it's dope. I wrote it like right after I wrote Real Black Agenda, but I gotta space the book out. I don't think we should be participating in any of this. What does it benefit you? Right? Like my whole thing is I watch everybody talk about who Blueface is sleeping with. I watch how everybody's talking about, what happened with Halle Bailey and DDG. None of that is making me any money. None of that is making me in any better shape. None of that is making me more intellectually sound. It's not doing anything for me. And so if it's not good for me, like we're so big on talking about, well, you got to watch what you consume. Yes, trust me, Big Back, I get it. But watch what you consume with what you watch and what you listen to and what you take in, because after a while, those things begin to affect you.
Yeah.
And reality shows and gossip blogs and all that stuff, they got big money to keep us on that nonsense. So yeah, I'm completely against it. I've been boycotting that stuff for as long as I possibly could.
Yeah, I've been boycotting some.
But we don't shame them tethers. We do not shame the tethers the way the tethers need to be shamed. They should feel it.
We don't. Yeah, that's a fact. So I mean, honestly, that's the only reason why I'm even still following some. I think I unfollowed the Shade Room a little while ago, but I think I might follow one of them non-FBA owned pages, though, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the only reason why I even follow the Shade Room or I follow the pages that I do now is because there's so many Black Americans to follow. They follow them and keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? And they keep up with us. Even though it's the lower parts of our culture that they keeping up with. They do, you know what I'm saying? They do be reposting. Right. So, but we definitely need more Black American owned B1 media. That's in that.
But we don't want it. We don't want it. So I'll give you an example. Before there was a Zeus, before there was all of this, I had Business Bully TV and we had nothing but positive programming. I mean, I spent a lot of money putting out like really good, high quality programming. Black people ain't want that. You know what they wanted? They wanted Natalie Double Chin's Tether Nunn to go out here and do baddies. That's what y'all want. Y'all don't want. Y'all say y'all want it, but you don't support it. Look at Tyler Perry's Daddy's Little Girls. Y'all ain't watch that? Like
Little Girls. That's my
me
shit.
too. You know, but guess what? One of his lowest grossing movies.
Damn. For real?
We don't support goodness. We love mess. We absolutely love mess, and we act like we don't.
Yeah, we do. It's unfortunate. It is. It's a side effect of white supremacy, man. We victims.
We definitely need it.
But we do need it. Yeah, that's a fact. Well, I think things like this are helping to add towards that sort of media. Okay, good
Yes,
brothers
indeed.
like yourself standing on black bully business. Okay.
Got no choice.
It's a blessing. Again, I got your link in the description, but go ahead, tell everybody where they can follow you, find your book, all that.
All that good stuff. You can go to therealblackagenda.com. I highly recommend. The book is absolutely everywhere. If you go to realblackagenda.com, I will also toss in the audiobook, because in the audiobook I go off script and I really like start to drop a lot of stuff I didn't actually write in the book. So listening to the audiobook is crazy. And it's me. There's no AI. I literally sat in this studio and recorded the audiobook. Aside from that, you can find me on all social media platforms at The Business Bully, with the exception of X, Twitter, whatever it's called this week, at DA Business Bully. But yeah, I'm here. You know what I mean? And I'm just happy. Thank you so much for having me. This has been absolutely amazing. I love your platform. I was so happy to see you like break down my stuff and respond to it. Like it really made my day. So I'm really appreciative of that. Thank you.
That's a blessing. No, I appreciate you coming on for sure. This was a great way to start the year or end the year. Both, a little bit of both, I guess. But yeah, it's a blessing for sure. I haven't talked, like I said in the beginning, I haven't done an interview in a long time, like a year or so. So you were the perfect guest to bring back or to bring back interviews with. I do appreciate you. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate you. Look at them super chats. You're getting super chats tonight.
I appreciate you. I mean, I see my girl in the chat. Will you be doing a tour speaking soon? Oh, come to DC.
I gotta make that. We gotta make something happen. Let's make it happen. Let's figure that out.
I'm with that. Do you have any plans to come down here though? Because she asked if you have a tour. If you're on a tour, do you have a tour?
I mean, I was literally just in DC. Like I do Erica Campbell's show. So I did Urban One literally like 2 weeks ago. But I'm in and out. Like I've got business interests, in and out of DC. I'm doing some stuff. I have a lobby group I'm a part of called, FSI Coalition. You can look it up, fsicoalition.org. We're one of the only black lobby groups on Capitol Hill trying to get some things pushed and passed, so I'm always down. I'm always there. So, I definitely want to look to make something happen. I got to find a black owned bookstore in DC that I can pull up on, do a signing. Maybe you can help me with that.
I got you. I think I might be able to help you with that. I was about to say, my father used to sell books.
Your daddy sell books and bean pies. Good Lord.
My daddy is an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. He sold books for like 10 years, I think, or some shit, like for a very long time. He's selling pies for about 10 years now too. He sold 10 when I was a kid. Now another 10 is pies now as I'm an adult. So
what a blessing. What a blessing. That's awesome.
And thank you for that super chat. That super sticker. Thank you very much, brother. But yeah, this was great. I do appreciate the chat. Got some real ones from Rocking with the Realest. Make sure y'all follow our good brother Dave. Follow me on all platforms. ZZ Ranch. Y'all know how we do. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe and comment on it to help the algorithm. We're gonna post clips afterwards. But yeah, we want to make sure we get good engagement. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, again, y'all have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, all of that jazz. We're gonna see y'all when we see you. Peace and be one.
You won, people.
We do not play, but I green. You fuck with the team. Might find your West in the